Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Breakfast with Blaha, and today we're having Greek yogurt, walnuts, and milled flax seeds. Yes, my diet's high in omega-3 fats. All right, let's talk a little bit about why we need a vary training stimulus, not for gains, but to prevent overuse issues. And this is one of the reasons that when we run a system like Conjugate or any system in which you do this, we can get away with a little more training volume sometimes because we can recover easier because we're not as beat up all the time. And when you start looking at things like tendons hurting, tendonitis, joints hurting, all of these problems people have, even a lot of muscle tears, what causes that? Repeating the exact same movement pattern and stress over and over and over. This is also the problem with classic linear periodization. Now, if you're doing the same 5 movements, the same versions of them all the time, over and over and over for years on end, you get beat up, you get injured, okay? The thing is, linear periodization, as it was written, has no concern for longevity. And that's one of the things people forget when they look at these models that came out of Russia. Do you think when any of this was designed, the concern was, well, we need this athlete to still be healthy in 20 years? You're not going to compete in the Olympics for 20 years. You're not going to compete in the NFL for 20 years. So why would they even think about that? They don't care. Being an athlete was a short-lived thing with those models. And they do. You can build champions with linear periodization. Their injury rate is higher. It's higher. So what we need to do, though, is vary stress. Right? Yes, we could talk about the fact that if we're doing the same movement and we're not progressing, that we're not really gaining muscle anymore. Okay. Now, could it be that because you've stalled completely on the movement? Could it be because you're not eating enough, you're not sleeping enough? There's a lot of reasons. But if you're not able to get stronger at a movement, after about 3 weeks, you're not gaining any more muscle from it. Your gains are zero. You're not gaining anything. Unless you can pick up reps somewhere along the way with the same weight, or you can add weight, you're not gaining muscle beyond about 3 weeks. That's it. But we also have the overuse end. And again, we have so many people who are like, my shoulders hurt, my elbows hurt, my knees hurt. Well, your knees hurt because you don't know how to squat correctly and you have a weak posterior chain. But how much of it's overuse? How much of it's overuse? Are you doing the same movements? Are you performing a barbell back squat and Bulgarian split squat every single week? You've been doing that for a year straight? No variation? Well, that's why your knees hurt. Your elbows hurt. You've been just doing skull crushers. You've been doing the same tricep extension with the same rope for a year straight, and your elbows hurt. Yeah, you've got overuse inflammation. If you're going to do a bunch of cable work, why don't you vary the attachments? I mean, hell, they have like 137, maybe 237 different goofball weird-ass attachments at this point for the cable station. You try using 2 or 3 of them if you're going to do tricep press downs, which you insist on doing. Shoulders hurt from benching. How often are you varying your grip? How often are you rotating dumbbells then? Doing the exact same chest press all the time with the same grip width? Try rotating 3 different grips. Try changing a barbell. Why don't you try putting some chains on there, bands from time to time. Light mini bands changes the strength curve. Well, every time you stall with one of them, you rotate something like that in. Every time you stall or anytime anything starts to get remotely inflamed, change the movement pattern. Well, you've been overhead pressing, your shoulders hurt from that too. Using a barbell, why don't you switch to dumbbells? You switch to a push press instead of the trick press for a couple weeks. Change from standing to seated. It changes the angles. You see where we're going with this? Your back hurts from deadlifting, or are you doing the same conventional deadlift every week? You try doing some sumo for a while. You try pulling from blocks. Okay, but this applies to every exercise we do. There is no exercise other than maybe stuff like the reverse hyper, but we can vary stress. We can throw bands over that if we need to. All right, we've got a few things where we're locked in that are essential movements. You don't see me remove the reverse hyper or the glute ham raise, true. I vary the way that I do them over time, though. Okay. But even either one of those, you could throw bands over them. You can change your strength curve. If we change the strength curve, we change the way that the tendons and joints are stressed. We get less overuse, because overuse is what causes 90% of weight room injuries. That's it. It's not bad form, not all these other things. It's overuse. Because now once you start getting tendonitis, now we have to rehab it. And I do that a lot, usually high rep band work. Anything that's inflamed, high rep bands usually sorted out, so we need to do. Right? Works. But if we can avoid it completely, what if we can avoid it completely? Well, that's better. Change these movements. And I do mean even your small movements. I mean all the way down to rotate every few weeks the tricep extensions that you do. Your forearms and bicep tendons hurt. Well, maybe quit doing curls with a supine grip. That might help. Quit doing your chin-ups that way. Maybe just go with all pronated grip. You still build biceps that way. Be in the game a lot longer. These are easy things to fix by just rotating your movement patterns. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.